Video we are going to learn about the chapter SQL. Already we have completed this chapter, and today we are going to revise this chapter. The main points and the main questions, important questions which will be asked in exam will be revised in today's class. So what is SQL? SQL is a structured query language. It is a database language for storing, manipulating and retrieving data stored in a relational database. It is a database language helps in storing the data, manipulating, doing any changes to the data and retrieving the data stored in the relational database. There are different data types which are used in SQL, that is number, char, varchar, varchar2, float or real, date or time. So these are the different data types used in SQL. SQL commands. So there are different commands in SQL, that is DDL, DML, DCL and DQL. Under DDL, that is data definition language, you have three commands, that is create, alter, drop. DDL is data definition language. It is a conceptual schema providing a link between the logical and the physical structure of the database. So there are three commands here. One is the create command. Create command is used to create a new table. Alter command, it is used to modify an existing database, and that is drop command is used to delete the entire table. So these are the three commands which are used in DDL, that is data definition language. So create, alter and drop. So they might ask you a question that what is DDL and explain the different commands in DDL. That is, you have to give the meaning of DDL and explain the create command, alter command and drop command with syntax and example. The next command is DML command. DML command is data manipulation language command. Provides the data manipulation techniques like selection, insertion, deletion, updation, modification, retrieval, sorting, display of data, etc. So data manipulation language has got three commands, that is insert command, update command and delete command. The insert command is used to create a record. It will create records in the table, that is each row will be created in the table. It will insert the value inside the table, insert command. And the update command is used to modify the records. In case you have to do any changes to your record, you can update the records using an update command. Delete command will delete the records from the table. So these commands are under DML. Again, you might get a 5-mark question in DML, that is data manipulation language. These are the three commands which are used along with syntax and example. You have to explain now. DCL command. DCL command is grant command and revoke command. So DCL is data control language. That is DCL contains two commands, that is grant and revoke. Grant command is used to give privilege to a user, and revoke command will take back the privilege granted from the user. So these are the two commands which are used in DCL, that is data control language. So this question might be asked for 2 marks. These two questions, that is DDL and DML, are very important. DCL command might be asked for 2 marks, that is grant and revoke. DQL is a data query language, and the data query language you have got a select command. In the select command is used to retrieve certain records from one or more tables based on the condition or without a condition. We are using a select command. Again, they can ask you separately for 5 marks the select command. Explain select command with syntax and example. So DDL, DML, these two questions are very important, that is DDL command and DML commands. That is, you have to mention create, alter, drop for DDL, and DML insert, update, delete. Again, select command can be asked for 5 marks, that is write the syntax and example for the select command along with the explanation. So these are the different commands which are used in SQL. The next question which can be asked can be group functions. Functions that act on set of values are called as group functions. So there are different group functions like max function, min function, count function, sum function and average function. These are the 5 functions which are there in group functions. And this question can be asked for 5 marks. You have to write the meaning of each of these functions along with the syntax and example. Let us see each of these functions. That is max. Max function is used to find the maximum of the values in the column, to find the maximum values in a column, and minimum function is used to find the minimum value in a column, and count function is used to count the number of values in a column, and sum function is used to find the sum of the values in a numerical column, and average function is used to find out the average of the values in a numerical column. So these are the different functions which are used in group functions. So max is used mainly to find the maximum value, min is used to find the minimum value, count is used to count the number of values in a numerical column, and sum is used to find the sum of values in a numerical column, and average is used to find the average of the values in a numerical column. These are the 5 functions which are there in the group functions. The next question which can be asked for 5 marks is SQL constraints. So the SQL constraints are certain rules enforced on the data columns on table. First, you should know the meaning of SQL constraints. Constraints means it is the rules enforced on data columns on table. So there are different constraints, that is primary key constraint, foreign key constraint, not null constraint, unique constraint and check constraint. So these are the different constraints in which are used in SQL. That is first one is primary key constraint, uniquely identified each row in the database table. So primary key is used mainly to identify, that is uniquely identify each row in a table, in a database table. Foreign key is also used to uniquely identify each row in any other database table. That is mainly foreign key is used to link two tables. So foreign key is also used to uniquely identify each row in some other table, that is not in the same table, in other database table. Not null ensures that the column should not or cannot have a null value. That is in a table there should not be any null values that has been used. Each row should be filled with values, it should not be left blank. That is not null constraint. The next constraint is unique constraint. It will ensure that all the values in a column are different. That is, no two values should be repeated or should have duplicate values. Unique means that each value should be different. Then we tell it as unique constraint. The next constraint is check constraint. Ensures that all the values in a column satisfy certain condition. So in case if there is a condition, if it is given, that is all the students should score above 35 to get a passing mark. So the condition should be mentioned. So in that case we tell it as check. That is, ensures all the values in a column should satisfy certain condition. So these are the different SQL constraints. Next 5 mark questions which can be expected is order by and group by clause. So order by clause is used to sort the data, that is, you are arranging the data in ascending or descending order, then we tell it as order by. Group by clause is used to arrange identical data which are similar data. So all the students belonging to the EBSC stream, or all the students who are belonging to PCMB or PCMC stream. So the data will be arranged based on some condition. So all the science students are arranged similar data, that is, all the science students are arranged together, or all the commerce students are arranged together. So this is called group by clause. And order by clause is also arranging the data, but we are arranging in ascending or descending order. Here we are arranging the identical data. The next question which can be asked is logical operators. The different logical operators used in SQL is and, or, not, any, all, exist, between, like, unique. So these are the logical operators. Any 5 or 6 operators you have to learn along with the meaning. that is and or not, any, whichever is easier. You can learn those logical operators for 5 marks. Next question which can be asked is single row functions. Under single row functions, there are different functions, that is numerical function, character function, date function, and conversion functions. In numerical functions, you have different functions like absolute functions, ceil function, floor function, round function, truncate function. These are different functions which are there in numerical functions. Character functions are like length function, lower function, and upper trim. In date functions, you have different functions like add months, months between sys date, etc. The conversion functions are like to number, to char, to date. These are the some of the conversion functions. So these are the different single row functions which are used, that is numerical function, character function, date function, conversion functions. Today we have revised the entire chapter, that is SQL. Today there is a small assignment for you, that is you have to write the meaning of SQL, and before writing all these answers, you have to first watch the video properly and try to recall the answer what you have learnt, and without seeing you have to write how much ever you have learnt, you write the answer, and if you are not able to get the answer, again watch the video and try to recall what you have learned, and without seeing try to write these answers. So what is SQL? SQL is a database language. After that you don't know what it is, so you go back to the video, watch the video properly again, and then write without seeing. Don't just copy it from the videos. You have to write it without seeing. Okay, so what is SQL? SQL meaning you have to write. So next question will be SQL data types. Mention all the data types which are there in SQL, and no need to explain the types, only mention the names. That is SQL data type, which are different types, mention the names. Again SQL commands, different commands, that is different languages are there, under that which commands are there, mention the commands. And next, order by and group by. Difference between order by and group by. What is order by? What is group by? You should know the meaning. Next, group functions. How many types of functions are there? There are 5 functions. So what are these functions? And different functions, mention those function names. Next, SQL constraints. Which are the different constraints which are there in SQL names again. And logical operator, any 5 operator names you should know, and you should write it without saying all these questions. And single row functions. Single row functions are how many types of single row functions are there, under that how many functions are there, under each type mention those types. So all these questions, take one blank paper or a blank sheet and write these answers in one. Try to finish it in only in one small paper. Try to write all these answers without seeing. Try to write. If you are not able, you are stuck somewhere, you are not able to, again watch the video properly, again rewrite the same thing. Recall what you have learned and just write down the names. Once you complete writing all these questions along with the headings, you can click one photo and you can send that image to me. Personally you can send it, not in the group. You can send that image along with the register number and your name.